Hey, this is Robot here from Vespa MOTORSPORT, aka ScooterWest.com. Today here we got the 2015 GTS with ABS and traction control, and Steve over here has a 2014. The prior model that was pretty much had very few changes from 2009 to 2014.
We're going to showcase, we're going to go step by step. We're going to show you the new features of the 2015 models that are again equipped with that ABS and traction control, and then we're going to kind of compare those features that are not present on the 2014 to really kind of show you what you're getting when you go with the latest and greatest that Piaggio has to offer. So the big one, Robot will take it with this, but the biggest thing is that traction control and ABS. What can you tell us about it, Robot?
ABS on this it's a 2-channel system, so it's actually front and rear, versus the new Sprint that has 1-channel ABS, which is only on the front end. The rear on the Sprint is the drum brake, so there's no ABS. And that's a big deal because that's kind of on par with all the big motorcycle manufacturers, you know, putting 2-channel ABS on most of their high-end products.
And if you pan way down here, you'll see the little indents on the sprocket that mounts to the rotor, and that's basically how the ABS works. It counts the revolutions electronically and sends a message back to the ABS controller that controls, it's able to detect if the thing is starting to skid out or anything. And that's also how the traction control works, right, Robot?
Yeah, it basically compares the wheel speed of the front and the rear, and if the wheel speed exceeds the front, then it backs off on the throttle to equalize the wheel speed. So it's kind of the opposite of ABS, where it prevents, it tries to equalize the wheel speed by allowing the wheel to speed up for actual better braking performance.
Nice thing about the traction controls Robot mentioned during brake, you can actually turn it off and on the 2015s, which is great. So if you don't want to have it on, you have the ability to turn it off. If we pan back over the red bike here, you'll notice, kind of pointing out that same kind of void in the front fork there, you'll notice no ABS sensor ring and the conventional style of speedo cable. Whereas on the other one, it had the electromagnetic speedometer, which powers the gauges. But another thing while we're looking down here is you'll notice the style of the front fork and the fork geometry. Anybody that has the 2006, 2014 GTS will notice the handlebars vibration that you'll get from 25 to say 35 miles an hour if you take your hands off the handlebars. When we pan back over to the ABS model, the redesigned front fork completely eliminates that, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot more rigid, and it's less likely to oscillate at low speeds. And also, if you're very heavy on the brakes without even activating the ABS, the fork's a lot more rigid, so it just kind of handles its composure a lot better. Just in overall handling, having a more rigid fork design.
In general, I would say that the 2015s just handle and feel tighter.
Yeah, they kind of have a nice tight feel to it, and just overall, you could feel that they handle a little bit better. I think the shock valving and the spring rates have changed on them. They feel a little bit sportier than the old 300 Super, which always had a slightly uprated spring versus the GTS 300. All right, the instrumentation is completely changed on the new 2015. They have this new chrome bezel, and it's kind of got this cool, large sweep speedometer, kind of reminiscent of older American cars. I really like the style of it, and it's got a couple more features, above and beyond just the looks. I'll turn it on right there. You see it lights up really nice. It's all LED backlit. Just looks a lot better than the older incandescent backlit speedometers. On the Super, they come with a red backlight, and on the GTS model, the 2015 GTS, it's all blue backlit, so everything that's red is going to be blue on the other GTS. You can see the ABS light is flashing. That light extinguishes right when you first take off. It's just like indicating that the ABS hasn't done its test mode. Most importantly, it's got this new digital little instrumentation down here. There's a new switch down here on the right, called the mode switch, and it cycles through the trip odometer and the odometer. You can see this one's got 6.1 miles on trip number B, so there's the second trip. Total miles, 6 miles, so it probably has never been reset. Trip A, 6 miles again. Fuel is full right there, and that's 8 p.m., not 8 a.m. here. just works better, looks better, and it's definitely a more robust design than the old 2014.
All right, so now we're looking at the instrumentation on a 2014 Super. Notice it's got the nice black face. It's backlit with a warm incandescent bulb. It's got a digital clock that requires its own separate battery. The whole speedometer is actually driven by a conventional cable that will require maintenance and or replacing from time to time. Nowhere near as accurate, not only with the speedometer, or the odometer, the fuel gauge is far less accurate, and you just have much simpler, more basic, rudimentary, older style of instrumentation that is completely blown away and improved upon with the 2015 instrumentation.
And last of all, the clock is actually powered by a little clock battery that needs to be serviced about every 2 years, and it takes about 20-25 minutes to go in there and change that little clock battery. They made some changes to the seat, and the under seat storage actually holds a lot more than the old 2015. So first of all, I'll show you what's underneath. Open that up, just like the 2014 3/4 face helmet. Check this out, it fits in there. So this is actually a little larger in 2014. Works exactly the same as the 2014, but it's a larger under seat bucket. The seat itself has changed, it's slightly different style. The Supers always comes with the piping on the black. They now have a little tag that kind of indicates, ooh, it's a Vespa, yeah. And the foam is a little stiffer, a little more comfortable on long trips. A lot of times people think, well, you want soft foam for a comfortable ride, but actually the stiffer foam, in my personal preference, is better for long rides.
So 2014, when it comes to the seat and under seat storage bucket, the actual bucket and such is actually narrower. So we're taking the same helmet that Robot just demonstrated, and notice this thing doesn't even come close to fitting in there. They've done something on the 2015s and added, a good inch or something to the width to increase the storage space. Inside the glove box, Robot is going to show us what's different on the 2015 model year.
All right. Well, everybody has one of these nowadays, like some sort of smartphone that is, I don't know, it's smarter than them, But the problem with these things is the batteries last about 2 seconds. So Vespa knew that everybody's got to charge their smartphone or whatever they want to charge that has the USB kind of style jack. So they put a USB jack in here for charging mobile phones. So right there, little USB jack. It doesn't come on until you turn the ignition on, and now it's charging the phone. You can put your phone in there, or you could set your scooter up with a Ram X mount, kind of snake the wire right through the glove box and be charging your phone, listening to your tunes, GPS going, everything.
Hey Robot, can you tell me what's up with this? I mean, I've got a 2013 GTS that's completely inferior to the new 2015, but I don't have this big black box in there. I've got empty space.
Oh, because there's an ABS pump in there. Well, let me get the right Torx bit, but yeah, the ABS pump actually occupies part of the glove box, and I'll show you one other trick feature under here. I don't know if it's trick, but up in this side there's a huge round connector, and it used to be there was an alarm interface connector. It was a rectangular connector. We sell an adapter that allows you to use many of our electrical accessories with this new style 2015 round alarm connector, accessory connector, whatever you want to call it. Another Vespa accessory that actually interfaces to this is there's a Bluetooth module that plugs into that, and it can pull a lot of the data from the actual electronic systems of the scooter, like your mileage, the fuel tank capacity, if your turn signals are on, and there's an app that runs on Android or iPhones. You put your phone in an X grip via Bluetooth, it will communicate to the scooter and show you all these running parameters, and you could cycle through them. They made some subtle aesthetic changes to the 2015 as well as the major upgrades such as the ABS, underseat bucket, and all the other good stuff we talked about. First of all, up front, you can see the actual horn cover has been restyled. They kind of got this new V shape. Kind of carries over from the Sprint, the new Sprint. They kind of carried some of the same design elements. So you can see this has changed out versus the 2014. You can kind of see it's got more of a, I don't know, a simpler look to it.
Very subtle difference.
Just a subtle little difference. You can see the grooves and
Pan down to the wheels, you'll notice the difference. The super wheels are actually kind of a nicer, shinier, and more attractive glossy on the 15, where the 14 is a little bit duller.
And off to the center, they've restyled the center mat, which is the battery cover. And this part will actually fit the 2014. If anybody's looking for a replacement part, you'd replace it with a newer 2015. They have the Vespa logo molded into the rubber there.
No point showing this one because it doesn't say Vespa, it's just a normal black rubber thing. And then panning to the back, I think the thing you'll see that's kind of nice is they've got the little chrome bezel around the taillight, which kind of accentuates and kind of ties into the vintage style Vespa taillights, where they always had kind of a polished chrome metal between the frame and the red lens. Looks kind of cool.
And the last thing is they changed the rear fender, and I like how that looks. It's kind of like this, the band of the plastic skirts actually kind of wraps around, and then they have a seam line with this like kind of black plastic lower fender. It's kind of a nice little touch.
So that's it. That's the difference in the overview of the ABS model. It's all about those mechanical upgrades, specifically with the brakes, traction control, and improved front end. But the bikes, thank you very much, Vespa. You've hit a home run with the new 300s, model year 2015 and beyond.
One last thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There's always one last thing. That's good.
One last thing. There's, with the, you know, everything's going to where it's safer, and, you know, cars, they have 20 airbags versus one airbag, in 1995 that is. Every car has ABS traction control. Well, now these have traction control ABS. But one thing that's kind of dangerous about scooters with the automatic transmission is when they're up on the center stand, you can actually rev them and they'll take off on you, you know, if you're not prepared, or pop it off the stand. Well, with the traction control system, see, it doesn't allow it to rev up. While the old one, I can rev the engine all the way up as high. If you popped it off the stand, it would take off like a bullet.
Won't rev it too much inside. But that's how Jammer did the epic wheelie, leaving the San Quintin parking lot on the trip to Mexico.
Scraped the top case, had it straight up and down.
All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Again, Steve and Robot from Vespa Motorsport and Scooter West. Viva la Vespa.